And I'm back. That's right. Yeah, it's been a long time. Uh-huh. And I'm back on this Saturday afternoon. So I hope you guys are doing great. And I'm checking real quick to see if I got myself a notification. Now, let me go ahead and turn off the Wi-Fi. It seems like most of the time when I'm on the network, it works better than the Wi-Fi. So let's see. Let me do that real quick. Hold tight. Uh-huh. Do that. Let's see here. Yeah, save that there. And see if I got me a notification. Come on, give me an update. There we go. Oh, I'm in business. I'm in business. Yeah, buddy. So now, somebody say, hey, Kev, what's up? I got the note. Uh-huh. All right. Good. I'm glad people were getting notifications. Can y'all hear me and see me? Can you hear me and see me? Hear me? Hear me? I never forget my buddy's little brother when he was little. He's about 1.5, maybe 2. He wanted some juice, and we was all hanging out, and he was like, juice, Eddie, juice. And no juice, Lonnie, no juice. He said, juice, Eddie, hear me? Hear me, Eddie? Juice. Yeah, Lonnie wanted that juice. He said, hear me, Eddie? But I tell you, I never forget that, man. Hear me, Eddie? Yeah, so I just want to make sure y'all can hear me. Now, before I get into the show, of course, I also want to thank, first of all, Mary. Y'all know I have to take a trip to New York, an up and back trip, and Mary sent me a blessing. And anybody else that wants to send a blessing to me to help fund I got to go to New York and come right back the foundation, you can help out. But boy, you came through again, Mary, right on time. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. I hope God rains down blessings on your family that is so big, it's too much for you to contain. So thank you very much. And someone else sent me, I think it's a gift basket filled with snacks and stuff. You know, I couldn't find a return address to see who it came from, but I'm assuming it came from somebody from the show. But I know a couple people asked for my address, to send me something. And it has all types of chocolate and sweets and stuff and nuts and things like that. And I'm gonna have to space it out because I don't want to get sugar diabetes. But if you're out there and you're the person responsible for that gift basket, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I wish that I had a name to thank somebody for it, but it's okay. I'm assuming that it came from somebody from the show. So it's all I can think of. So if it is, thank you so much. And I'm going to eventually eat through all of those snacks. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat through all of those snacks. So anyway, now, with that being said, I also want to, wish everybody a happy Saturday. I know that in the past week or so, they had me working some crazy hours. I'm trying to get, some things together. I'm working the full shift, and then they try to slide in some overtime. I got to come home and juggle and do all kind of stuff. So it's been a little tough to get to you guys. And I said, man, before I get on the road going to New York, let me reach out to the people. First of all, let them know that I'm still here and in business, still alive. And then secondly, talk about a couple of things that I've been meaning to address, but I just didn't get a chance. And so I said, before those things become too far outdated, let me go ahead and touch on those. And then we'll get to some more current stuff, because there's always stuff happening when it comes down to the news. So before I get into what I'm going to be talking about, let's get into me getting loose so I can get busy. Oh, yeah. Move, Gizmo. Get out the way. Real Rogan, real Rogan, real Rogan. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here, gorillas in here, gorillas in here, gorillas in here. That's right, y'all. And it's a Kevin's Corner store in here too. So don't forget, if you want some merchandise, you can go ahead and check out my merch. And that phone number on the screen, 330-97447, let's see, 974-4607 is the number you can text MAGA to, just in case y'all really get worried about me and I need to reach out to y'all and let y'all know that they disappeared me off the internets, that can maybe direct you to where we're going to be next. But you can also subscribe to my alternative channel, which the links are below. And if you want to support the channel through my Cash App and my PayPal link, you can do that. The links are below each video as well. Drop about $2,000 or $3,000 in there if you want. I mean, it's up to you. I ain't gonna stop you. Yeah, I'm gonna use that for the toll going to New York. Unbelievable, y'all. I mean, it's so expensive just to go to New York, not to even be around in New York, just to go. I'm sitting there checking the toll out like, wait a minute. Well, I got to pay just to travel. It ain't fair, man. It ain't fair. It's a scam. It's a racket. That's what it is. Dang on it. Maybe if Mandami would get his stuff together up there in New York and Hochul, they won't have to charge as much money. And they wondering why all these people are leaving New York. I would be out of here too. Straight up escape from New York. That's right. So now, let's get into a story that took place a couple, weeks ago that I said, man, this is ridiculous. I got to talk about this A-head dude who showed up at some type of hearing, dressed in his, I guess, Marine outfit, and made a spectacle and ended up getting his arm broke. And then people, of course, reacted to it. Now, what's crazy when it comes down to these radicals, they go and they put themselves in compromising situations. They are not complicit when it comes down to either being asked by authorities to, leave or be removed or whatever, move your car. They hope that the authorities got to put their hands on them. But see, they never expect it to end up in situations like Renee Good or Alex, whatever his last name was. They just think that we're going to get a video of maybe them, throwing me on the ground. Look at them. I wasn't doing nothing but just, being an innocent observer, a legal observer. Or in this guy's case, I was just simply coming there to tell everybody I disagree with this war that's going on over in Iran. Now, we all know that this man is using his former military, uniform and all of that stuff to try to increase the impact that his little, outburst made on society. Like, look at this. Even our Marines are disagreeing with this. But we're going to find out the truth behind this guy. Because, see, some people would see that and feel sympathetic. Look at this guy. He's a Marine. Why would they do this to him? And this and this and that. And not be able to see how he did this to himself. And see, I'm not going to let it slide. I'm not going to let this guy get away with this whole spectacle that he put on. And then people out there trying to pretend that, see what happened to him, all he was doing. And I'm going, no. So let's dig a little deeper into what's going on with this knucklehead and see really what's behind his motivation to get out there and do what he did. So let's get it.
Israel is the reason for this war. America does not want to fight this war for Israel. Let's go. Come on, let's go. America does not want to send its sons and daughters to war for Israel.
Now look at that. I don't know about you, but when you get, hey, all right, come on, let's go. And you still trying to, you playing rugby with the police back and forth just to get your last word in. Now you're asking for it. Now that right there is the beginning of the end for you when it comes down to resisting arrest. Yeah, when they start feeling that pushback, okay, you need to be like those guys who really don't want to fight. And so they let their, 102-pound girlfriend push them away. Yeah, push them away. You be like, oh, you want some of this, man? What's up? No, get off me, baby. Come on, get off me. She's just like, no, don't do it. It ain't worth it. And you allow her to go ahead and push it away. You don't want no resistance. Yeah, she's sitting there, pushing you. And you like, yeah, keep pushing. Get me out of this mess so I can still save face because I don't really want no action, no drama. But this guy is not doing that. He's giving the pushback. Now, they had already asked him to go. He already knows that you cannot interrupt a hearing like this. But what does he do? He specifically puts the uniform on. He's no longer active. And then he goes there and he does exactly what he shouldn't do. And then when they got to put their hands on him, he's getting there, but he's standing there pushing back. And it all comes down to this, for whatever reason, this sudden hatred towards Israel. And I'm sad to say that you got spots of it on the right, but also on the left. And I'm saying, what are y'all doing? Like this is what's concerning about this anti-Israel sentiment that is on both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and deviate real quick from this and give you my opinion based on my religious beliefs. It appears that the spirit of, like, not the Antichrist, which that's been here, but it appears that there are forces that are in power right now that's trying to turn, sentiment away from Israel to bring forth this unified hatred at the end of the last days against Israel. And when you start seeing people on the right that are pushing this, and I'm saying y'all pushing it hard, it's to the point not where you're saying, okay, I criticize some of the leadership decisions in Israel. It's more still starting to be targeted towards Israel. And they're talking about Zionism and stuff like that, which is basically saying, I don't feel that Israel has the right to exist. You're kind of laying the groundwork for hatred totally against Israel. I saw the video of the lady who wouldn't serve some Trump supporters at the darn, what was it, Smoothie King. And she went on TikTok, made a video talking about, why she didn't serve them and all of this. And then at the end of that, she said, let's be real what this is all about. This is all about Israel. And I'm going, how did you go from not serving them at the Smoothie King to all of a sudden it's about Israel? And it seems that there are forces that are, actively trying to turn the world against Israel. And I don't get it, especially as Christians. That's a very sensitive situation. Okay. And a lot of these folks, even on the right, who claim I'm a Christian, but yet they vocalize so much, seems to be, anti-Israel sentiment. And I'm saying y'all might want to chill with that. I get it when it comes down to the left. And I'm not saying you have to agree with every choice that Israel makes, but I have yet to see them make some choices that I say, now that goes way beyond. I think Israel has been very, very sensitive to these nations that hate them, and they have the military might to wipe them off the planet, but they have used a lot of measure. And people will say, well, they're genocidal and this and that. And I'm saying their folks was attacked, and yet they're still trying to tiptoe and dodge around civilians. They're still trying to, a lot of these countries that attack them, if the same happened to them, they wouldn't show that type of, sentiment towards Israel. They would just wipe Israel off the map if they could. And that is why we have to do things like what we're doing to Iran to make sure Iran, because I know it wouldn't be the same if Iran was attacked, their citizens were attacked by Israelis. I don't think Iran would be like, all right, let's go in and try to just get the people who attacked them, this and this and that. I think they would say this is our opportunity to blow Israel completely off the map. But yet people always talk about Israel as genocidal. And I'm saying slow motion genocide. I mean, you can't see why they're retaliating, why they're making these decisions. Same with us. But they're trying to paint this picture that America is being controlled by Israel. Not with Trump in office. Now, I think Trump respects the relationship with Israel, which if you're a Christian, you should be happy that we got a president that actually loves Israel. Okay. But these folks are trying to make it appear that we're not working with Israel. We're being controlled by Israel. And they use every opportunity they get to get up there and attack Israel. And so here's this guy now who is up there yelling, the Americans don't want to die for Israel. Now, I've already told you, if you watch my channel, how I feel that this war in Iran benefits America, not just Israel. I mean, if I felt the war only benefit Israel, then I might say, okay, we might want to go ahead and rearrange that or whatever. But this war, what we're doing right now, it benefits Israel, us, and many other folks in the region. So there's many benefits, but these people are so tunnel visioned on Israel, they get up there and they grandstand. So here's this guy, Americans don't want to die for Israel.
Your inability to name that shows your effectiveness as leaders.
Now look at this.
This is wrong, Tom.
This is wrong. So now you see Kojak, you see Telly Savalas, you see Yul Brynner up there, you see Dr. Evil. Now they already pushing ahead and he's out there says wrong. Now, folks are trying to say this guy should have been given a pass because, he's a former Marine. So, you think I care about that? There's a lot of former Marines, former military folks that break the law and get jacked up by the police, get thrown in prison. So now he did this to make a spectacle. He put the uniform on. It's a prop. He came in there and he knew exactly what he's going to do. He did exactly what these radical leftists always do. Get up, make a scene, and then when you are removed, give resistance and then blame the resistance. Blame them. Look, they're now being too rough with me.
And nobody wants to fight for Israel.
Now look at all that. Look at all that. Look at all that. Yeah. See, when you are to the point where you off balance, you dragging them to the ground, what do you expect these police officers to do? This guy right here is doing everything he can to get himself jacked up. Now look at that. That's not resisting arrest.
Commandant, please stand up as a Marine and stand up for America.
Now look, now the congressman comes in and tries to assist. Look at this guy. He got his arm in the door.
No one wants to fight for Israel.
Oh, you heard the snap? You heard the snap? See, he made them go ahead and snap because he wouldn't tap. That's what happened. So now because he wouldn't tap, they had to snap it. And he stuck that big fat arm in that door. And he know they pulling him in the opposite direction. He knows something about physics. He knows if you try to go this way and your arm is going that way, and there's no give, something's going to give. And it's going to be that bone snap. But now, all of a sudden, everybody's shocked. Oh, look what happened. Oh, I mean, heavens to Megatroids. Oh my God. Yeah. It's all fun and games until you hear that snap because you wouldn't tap. See?
His hand! The senator broke his hand!
Oh, now you hear this? Here are the activists in there with this guy. Now notice what they said. The senator broke his hand. This is how the left does it. Set the scene, cause chaos, resist authority, and then when authority has to go ahead and get physical with you, they're recording this, and then they're trying to say, look what the authority is doing. Look what they're doing. It's all staged. People don't see this yet. People don't get the tactic of the radical left. Go there, wait just to the right moment to get up, cause a spectacle, knowing you're going to be approached by authorities, resist authority, and claim you're only exercising your First Amendment rights. That's how that works. And this guy ended up getting a First Amendment snap on his hand. Now listen to the reaction to the other radicals that were there to record the spectacle. They're blaming the senator. The U.S. Senator broke the hand of a Marine. Bravo. That U.S. Senator did exactly what he should have did. Okay, this guy don't want to leave. Let's jump in there and help. And if he won't let that door go, if he feels that getting his message out there is worth sticking that hand in that door while he know they're trying to pull him in up opposite direction, he broke his own hand. There it is. He broke his own hand. You got to go with the flow. See, you got to go with the flow. Now, he know they pulling him this way. Get your hand out the door. But no, his job is to stand there and keep yelling. America shouldn't have to die for Israel. And then his buddies recording this. A U.S. Senator broke a Marine's hand. Now all of a sudden, they're patriotic. Now all of a sudden, they want to recognize the military. Now all of a sudden, they want to talk about he's a Marine. Why would you do this to him? Look what the senator did to him. No, he's a disobedient citizen at this point. He might have did that in the past, been a Marine and stuff like that. But right now, he is a citizen. That's what he is, and a disobedient one that is using that Marine uniform for some, radical protesting.
He's a Marine! Focus on him!
Control your Senate!
Look at you guys, you're robots!
Robots! Look at you guys, you're robots! Because what? Why are they robots? Should they all be gasping? Should they all be like, oh, sacrilege? Should they all be like, I can't believe? No, any rational person saw that guy from start to finish get his hand broke. Now, this is what I don't understand. When they act up over these videos and try to say, look what ICE did, look what the senator did, look what the police did. And these things are shown on video from start to finish of how these people walk themselves into the situation. I'm saying, who are you trying to fool? Only people that are going to be sympathetic to this are folks that are trying to push the narrative that we shouldn't have went to war with Iran. We're tyrannical. Iran is the victims. Israel is in control of us. All this. Only radicals like this guy could see what this guy did to lead to this happening. It's called cause and effect. Would still say, after all of that, that look what the senator did. He broke a Marine's hand. Had nothing to do with the Marine getting up, interrupting the meeting. Nothing to do with him resisting arrest. Nothing to do with him sticking his own arm in that door. Nothing to do with all of that. They just want the snap. They don't want to deal with all of that. They just want to deal with the snap. So all of a sudden, look, you guys are robots. Yeah, they're lucky I'm not there. I might be going, look, the stupid guy, he got his arm. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it too soon? Is it too soon? I'm sorry. Am I insensitive? See, yeah, that's called sometimes you get what you deserve.
You won't even look back. Look at you guys. You're like robots.
Activists, man. Now you see these activists. That's why activists, modern day activists, are the worst. They're the worst. You know, they are all actors. They set this stuff up all the time, and they know exactly what they're doing. They've been coached on how to create a spectacle so you can change sentiment about something. They're actors. And then they get up there and then they use this stuff trying to shame other people who are saying, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, that's the logical conclusion. You know, when you do stuff like this and you resist arrest and you stick your arm in that door, do you think they're going to stop and say, oops, okay, his arm's in the door, let him go. Let him stand there and continue to disrupt the meeting. Let him stand there and continue to yell, all of that, because his arm's in the door. Plus, look at him. He's wearing a Marine outfit. He's wearing a Marine outfit. And then right after that, you guys are robots. You guys are. No, it's not that this guy's a disruptor. It's not that that guy's an agitator. It's that these people who aren't sensitive to that snap are robots.
Capitol Police.
Oh my God, what is happening?
No, I can tell you what's happening. You recorded what happened. That guy resisted arrest and then fought and got his arm broke because of his own self. Then you're talking, what is happening? They act shocked. What is happening?
Broke the hand of a Marine.
Now you hear them?
And you're not.
They need to get out of there too. This guy, that senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Like all of a sudden now, I'm supposed to overlook all of that behavior that led up to him getting his arm broke because he's a Marine. That's what I'm supposed to do. The senator just broke the hand of a Marine. I'm not seeing that whole Marine thing because I'm seeing your behavior. If you were an honorable Marine, you would obey the rules of the House. You wouldn't resist arrest. You wouldn't be this activist. But let's see just how loyal and patriotic this former Marine is.
Not even looking back. Any of you 4-star generals. Oh my God, what is happening right now?
Yeah, she wants them to all burst out into tears. Go, do this to their head. Oh my God, I can't believe. Now all of a sudden, whatever we were talking about means nothing. Now all of a sudden, we got to change our whole mind about the war that we're in. We got to do all of that just because this guy got his own wrist broke and this lady is yelling at us saying we're robots.
It's robots. Shame.
Man, I would get up and be like, I would make her want to kill me, man. I'd be like, did somebody say the robot? Oh, let's get it. She'd be like, look at this guy. He's dancing like a robot. He's mocking it. And I'd be like, I'd do the robot. Not really sure. Oh, that's great. All right, so here we go.
Shame.
Thanks. Somebody said black conservative sub. Thank you.
Oh my God, you guys.
Everybody sit down.
What did I just see? I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down.
Scram.
Oh my God. What?
Old scram.
No, it's not.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Now, I know that hand is tender. I know he's probably like, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it. Don't touch it. You brought that on yourself. But here he is. So now we can get a good background on this guy. Because if you just watch that clip, you might think that this guy, is still in the service and he's not a radical leftist. He just happened to be a Marine that wanted to get up and vocalize his opinion, and then they got a little rough with him. You might think that. But now, of course, because of the internet, and he leaves all these woke crumbs, we get to see what led to his activism and his arm being broke.
To Hamas and the Gazans for repelling their oppressor, the Israeli.
Right off grip. That's why you got your hand broke. to Hamas and the Palestinians who repelled the Israeli. See, people who suffer from Israel derangement syndrome, they don't think straight either. To the point where they side with terrorists. But yet this dude's a former Marine and all of this stuff. If you're a former Marine, you should know how Hamas rolls. You should know how, dang on Iran rolls. So now all of a sudden here he is giving, DAP to Hamas.
Israelis and causing the ceasefire. We must, as Palestinian supporters, watch this deal roll out and see it makes.
How do you become an idiot? That's what I don't get. Now, granted, he's using this as a grift. We're about to find out that he's using this as a grift. And he probably does believe in all this woke stuff. But how do you become such an idiot like this to where you don't even realize the country or the folks that you're supporting would have slaughtered you? They would have felt it was a treat on, was it September 6th or October 7th, rather? They would have thought it was a treat to catch this guy over there in that area. Oh, we got us an American Marine, former Marine. They would have jacked this dude up. And here he is, we want to go ahead and I'm saying y'all are some of the biggest useful idiots that I've ever seen. Y'all don't realize that these folks rely on dumb folks like you guys to advocate for them, not realizing that you would be exterminated if they had their way.
Sure, it's legitimate and fair, and also continue to support Palestine with our wearing keffiyehs or any type of apparel to show we are a strong front. We must continue to band together with other minorities, the elite, the immigrants, the people that are getting
everybody. See, this is what activism do to your brain. This is what leftism do to your brain. You just start trying to drag in all of these things about oppression, this group, we got to fight for this group, that group. How do you live your life like this? I mean, you could never really move forward as a citizen if you're focused on all of this crazy, unnecessary stuff. Every group, every victim, we got to fight for these people. We got to stand in solidarity for these people. And at some point, all of these marginalized groups that y'all just came up with are going to bump heads. At some point, the ideology is going to bump heads. But yet here he is. Let's see how many other victimized groups we got to stand up for.
Taken out by ICE, African Americans who have been subjugated for the longest time and who I believe are the grounds for resistance in America.
Always dragging us in. Always dragging black folks in. Protesting on the backs of blacks. There it is. White liberals be on the backs of blacks like they're breaking a Bronco all the time. And as they're swearing up and down, we're doing this to fight for you and the solitary, all the atrocities that you guys have never lived through and endured. So now here he is. He's just reading off of a list of, groups. We got to fight for the baby seals in the North Pole. And don't forget about the climate, all of this stuff. And I'm saying, how do you live like this? If you truly was fighting for all this, what's the solution? What's the solution? How do you solve all of these problems for all these individual groups? You understand if these folks were absolutely serious about this, you would spend your life running around trying to put out fires. But this is a grift. And let's just come up with all of these groups, try to unite these groups against a common enemy, and try to pretend that we actually are fighting for these groups. And then what's the solution? What's the solution? The what? Wipe Israel off the map, get rid of all white folks, except you guys. See, you guys are the good white folks. Yeah, the good white folks. Let black people now just go ahead and say, all right, we no longer have to operate and function in society like normal folks. We get away with just pretty much doing anything because of all the atrocities and the racism and the slavery and stuff like that. Is that what these folks want? They sound like kids with wish lists and stuff. We want the world hunger to be solved immediately. Everybody should have 2 mansions and everything should be free.
They have the most experience, the most strength, and the most experience and wisdom, and have fought the longest and hardest in America.
So now what would he do if he ran into a black person like myself? And I say, hey, man, that's bullshit. Bullshit. Here you are. They got the most experience. No, most black folks in this day and age don't have any more experience with racism, slavery, and stuff than you white folks do. They weren't subjected to that. I mean, it's probably rare that they encounter a true 100% uncut racist experience right now in today's age. But this guy's talking about we got experience and no, all we have is all of this historical information that we're trying to drag into the future and make it appear that it affected us and is hindering us, and it still exists. We made no progress. But if you go and you'll talk to the average white guy, I mean, I know some white folks that grew up in way worse conditions than me, horrible households. You know, I'll be listening at work to these police cases that they solved and, you know, these interviews and stuff. And these folks, a lot of the white rural areas that they be solving these murders, I'm looking and saying, how in the world do they grow up in this? They went to this trailer park area, and man, they were going in asking folks questions. These trailer parks look so horrible. These folks sound like, you know, they were like one day out of Neanderthalism. Their mentality, their behavior. I mean, we all have groups in our culture that just can't get right, okay? But that doesn't mean all of them are like that. But I'm looking and listening to these people and the stuff that they going through, and I'm saying, jeez, I'm blessed to be, I thought it was bad in the hood growing up. I mean, these folks out here are, they struggling, you know, and then it gets passed down generation to generation. But here's this guy, he's talking about that they're the ones that got all the experience and stuff and the struggle and this and that. And I'm saying, you don't know that. You don't know what black folks got. They're just, a lot of these modern day black liberal race hustlers are operating off of what white liberals tell them they should be thinking and how they should be operating. Based on that, you guys got a right to be mad. You guys got a right for reparation. You guys got a right to be, look at all with the right. But the white liberals are doing it for one of two reasons, either to feel good about themselves because they're woke, or to manipulate black folks into thinking we all got a common goal and a common enemy. And all it does is it helps them to acquire more power. But black folks, for some reason, they fall for it often. And it's white liberals like this, who I would love to talk to and say, get that trash out of here. How do you now deal with a black person that's intelligent and knows how to argue against this mess you're trying to pump and trying to, you know, get us on your side? They got the most, they're wise and what then accept my wisdom. If they're wise and they got the most experience, I said, well, here's a word of wisdom. Stop pushing this nonsense into the black community in their minds, because that's stinking thinking. Yeah, if you want to help them overcome, tell them that, hey, you're just as good as everybody else. Yeah, don't come in with the white folks got the advantage and we're this and this and that. That puts you behind the eight ball immediately, mentity. Immediately mentity. And this guy's contributing to that. But he thinks he's helping. Yeah, he thinks we're going to listen to this and celebrate him.
For this right physically and mentally, and have the most experience, and must get the respect they deserve. And so let's continue to fight.
What does that even mean? Just saying stuff that you think minorities are going to like to hear. They're the ones that deserve the most respect, and then they got that they went through all of that stuff and this and that. Man, you go to some of these black neighbors, they'd eat you to pieces, man. Just like if you went over there to Hamas. Yeah, go up there. Hey, what's up, brothers? Hey, go into the inner city of Chicago and try to hang out with the brothers and see what happens. Go into some of these rough black neighborhoods and see if they're going to stand with you in solidarity. They would eat you for breakfast, man. Eat you for breakfast, just like these white liberals who swear up and down some of these radical Islamic countries would just embrace them. We have the gays for Palestine, the transgenders for Hamas. And I'm saying, y'all don't realize that is you know what? Empathy. That's what it is. You're such useful idiots. It's unbelievable.
Never stop. This is a lifelong fight for freedom and liberty for all.
Lifelong. So you can't have peace because you're fighting for all this unnecessary stuff. Or is it a grift for you? And where's his eyebrows? Where's that guy's eyebrows? Why am I looking at a real live Mr. Clean? This guy right here had to be the prototype for Mr. Clean. They probably stop right there, stand right there. You're perfect. You're perfect. You don't have to do anything. We don't need any makeup. We don't even need to shave his eyebrows. There it is. So
all through Gaza and through all the evil that's been, passed down by oppressors.
All of that through Gaza, all the evil, the indigenous, and this and that. They got to be the worst folks to hang out with. Never a moment of peace. Always in protest mode, activist mode. I'm like, how do you have your own personal goals? What's your goals in life? Is it to just chase down all of this unnecessary victimization and try to, come up with a solution to all of this? And I'm saying, but yet you have no solutions. You just got problems. I'm identifying problems that most of them aren't real problems. But let's continue.
So free Palestine forever.
Free
Keep
Palestine
fighting.
forever.
All right.
Free Palestine forever. But look, here he is, guys. He's running for some type of office. This guy's obviously in his right mind. He's obviously in his right mind. So let's go ahead and see what he has to say in his little advertisement to become something.
Hello, my name is Brian McGinnis, and I'm running for the congressional seat for North Carolina. If voted in, I will present to Congress the Great American Acknowledgement, a reparations plan for black families.
There it is. Now he's wearing his, I guess, Palestinian scarf or whatever, and he's running for office. Now this is the stuff. These are the type of crazy folks that the left produces, and some of them actually get into office. I was watching a video today where this dude from Bangladesh up in Virginia just came up with a bill to, put a ban on assault weapons, and they just gave all of these different details of what they feel are assault weapons. And I'm saying, how do you leftists allow somebody who just got to the country to come in and go after your rights? I don't get it. I mean, liberal voters are fascinating to me. They must not know the true plans of radical leftists that get into office. They probably just vote on, well, you know what? They've been telling us the other ones are racist and they're sexist and they're xenophobic and homophobic. And I'm saying these people want to take everything that will give you your autonomy away from you. They want to take it all away from you. You don't get it. You're thinking that they're doing all of this stuff and proposing these things because they're fighting against the radical right. And I'm saying, you leave it up to them. They will take guns away from you all. They will take your freedom of speech. And when they get those two things, if you think they're going to want to hear all of your other whining and protesting and stuff, you got another thing coming. They'll use you idiots to say, really go after your own rights. And because you're radicals and you don't know how to stop protesting and finding stuff to get mad over, you're going to continue in that behavior, even if the folks that you claim will do better than the Republicans. If you vote them in, you'll find some problems with them because you've been programmed to always look for problems. They only want to hear you identifying the problems that they have, and they want solutions too, like getting all of the folks that love the country and patriotic out of the way. Get them out the way, okay, and then shut your mouths. We don't want the protesting in the streets after that. So, but they're idiots. And so see this guy's out there. What does he do? Try to go ahead and pander towards blacks. The first thing I'm going to do is fight for reparations. I can't stand when they do that. I can't stand when white liberals try to appease black folks. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't know what you're saying, do you? Well, how are you going to implement reparations? That's my question. Yeah, you're just saying that stuff. And you're hoping, there's a white liberal who gets it. We're going to vote for him.
I'm not the one to speak on this as a privileged white man.
Then shut up. Look at him. And they always got to throw themselves under the bus. They got a false humility. Yeah, they got to do that, to make it seem like I'm not like the rest of the white, nationalists out there, the white supremacists. I'm not supposed to speak on this, but I will as a privileged white man. Ugh. I can't stand myself. I can't stand being a privileged white man. You think that gets to me? That stuff makes me want to vomit on you because I'm saying, why would you degrade your own race? As a white man, just be who you are, man. And if you're proud to be a white person without that putting down other folks, I'm okay with that. I'm proud to be black, but I'm more proud to be an American. But here's this guy that's a white man. And they think that gets us like, oh, wow, look at that. They're throwing themselves under the bus by recognizing that they're just white people. Ugh.
I will anyway. I have remorse for our American history. If I, as a white man, don't speak against what some fellow whites still stand for today, disgusting, foolish white supremacy, then I'll be damned.
You hear this fool. And now you see how he ended up there? And yet I'm supposed to overlook all of this wokeness because he's a former Marine. They went rogue, mentity. Yeah, he slipped out of the military and became nothing more than a radical white liberal activist. And now here he is talking about white supremacy, racism, and stuff like that. And got all of these people living in a delusion that America has made no progress when it comes down to race. And yet you don't see white supremacists riding around in pickups grabbing people off the streets. You don't see that. You don't see folks running for them lives as they ride through cities on horses. What are these folks talking about? Where are the meetings of all the white supremacy? Supremacists and stuff like that. I mean, this is delusional thinking, but yet some people believe this is going on. And I'm saying, are you kidding me? You're talking about all the white supremacy. Most white folks don't think about you as a minority. They get up and they're thinking about, how am I going to make my life better? How am I going to go, pay my own bills, keep my head down, do what I got to do to survive to the next day, maybe leave a little something behind for the family. They're not thinking about you. And yet here they are talking about all the white supremacists and all the white.
I sure as hell insist Jews denounce the state of Israel.
There we go. Got to slide some of that in. A little bit of that Jew hatred.
Right now.
I'm sure they're
I hear them now.
Right.
How do you plan on paying all those reparations? Simple.
I don't.
Take the money we give to Israel and give it to American black families.
Yeah, that'd be like $30 a black person. Think about $30 a black person. They could take all that money we're giving it. No, how about we take some of that USID money that we were giving to everybody? Gender studies in Pakistan, the studies of bumblebees on the side of the highway. How about we take all of that money? All that money we're giving to illegal immigrants. How about all that fraud money? And start, giving that money out to Americans, not black folks, Americans.
Pause. First off,
We can pay Israeli citizens, but we can't pay Americans?
$73.
Like North Carolinian ancestors built this country, for crying out loud.
So wait, once again, you focus on Israel. That shows this guy just hates Israel. Yeah, he hates the Jews. Now, he's not saying we can focus on all these illegal immigrants, but we can't focus on American citizens. Notice they never say that. They never say that. They never talk about all of the money the Biden administration spent on illegals, all the money that these darn liberal cities are spending on illegals, all the effort and attention, because everything on the left in America for all these politicians revolves around illegal immigrants right about now. Everything. And yet here he is talking about the money we spend for Israel, that we could give it to American citizens. I'm saying, no, the money you spend for illegal immigrants.
I went to the West Bank of
Was that on your
Palestine in
paper?
August 2024.
crying
I was
out
nearly
loud.
killed multiple times. The most threatening attack was while having large rocks thrown at me by shirtless teenage Israeli settlers. An IDF soldier shot a CS gas canister directly at my head and missed my huge nose by millimeters.
Yeah, should have blew that nose off. That's what you should have done. I guess the Palestinian people were just throwing rocks at him, but an Israeli almost blew his nose off with a rocket launcher, I guess. I don't know, something like that. But when you're this type of activist and you're a liar, you're probably making a lot of this stuff up. Reading off his papers. This is the worst campaign ad I've ever seen. You're supposed to have a teleprompter. He's reading straight off the papers. Good grief.
No, it's still
I
offensive.
love
So you
Jews.
are a Jew.
I consider them our most important ally against the state of Israel.
Wow. He considers Hamas, I guess, or maybe Palestinians, the greatest ally against the state of Israel. And I'm saying, what is Israel doing to us? What are you talking about? How did you get through the military? What happened to your mind?
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Look at that. Here he is in his Marine outfit. Now, you think I'm sympathetic to that little paw being broken in that door? Do you see this idiot? By the way, thanks all of you for checking in on me on a Saturday. And thanks, Don, for setting aside your Saturday time to do some moderation. But look at the idiot. Look at the idiot out there in a Marine outfit waving the Palestinian flag. Why don't you just move to Palestine? Why don't you just go there? Why don't you just, move and join some radical, group over in, unbelievable, this dude.
Oh boy.
Free America.
Speak up,
vote
demagogues.
green,
That's your guy.
Legalize weed. Raise
Legalize weed,
teacher pay,
Congratulations on the
pay
master's win.
homeschooling Families. Tax the rich.
tax the rich.
Subsidize child
That's Steven Crowder and all of them laughing because the clip came off of him.
care. Joe Rogan, please have me, Michael Dublin, and Tony Aguilar on your show.
Joe Rogan, he wants to go on the Joe Rogan show. Now you see what it is? I'm trying to motivate my self-image right here. I'm going to get out here and be one of the radical leftists. I'm going to go ahead and use my former Marine status to, push this grift and stuff like that. And then hopefully I'll get picked up by Joe Rogan, who immediately will help me with my profile online. And then, from that point, the grift just kind of gets easier. Yeah, people just look at me like a crazy another leftist, and all the leftists will support my stupid ideology. And I know I'm really not going to get, voted into no office. And who knows? With these leftists, I mean, they have voted in some folks, and I'm saying, how did this guy get in? Like Cherie from India. How did that guy get in there? Hank Johnson, Federico. Unbelievable. I'm sitting there like, man, who are the humans out there voting for these people? But so I don't want to put it past them that this guy might slide in, but I don't think his true intentions is just that. I think he's using a lot of this as a grift. Not to say he don't believe it, not to say he's not woke, but he realized wokeness is a business.
If you don't think military occupation is coming here, then you haven't been paying attention to Trump's ICE agents murdering people in the streets.
He is as left as you can get. He's as loony as you can get. If you haven't been paying attention, Trump's federal agent murdering people in the streets.
With impunity.
With impunity.
If you where I'm from, Illinois.
No, he didn't bust out in song. I don't think Mr. Clean is wrapped too tight. That man just went into song, and he thinks somebody is supposed to take his campaign ad seriously.
Then you would know.
Then you know. Off key and everything, if you will, then you know. This dude's nuts. No wonder he got his hand broke.
Holy, he's crazy. He's nuts. Yes. He's got post-traumatic stress disorder.
You hear Steven Crowder and them? Holy moly, he's crazy. Yeah, he's nuts.
But these on the right, America First, go, come on.
Oh, here he is again.
Your couch. Don't hold it like this. Hold like this.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, he wants to be a social media influencer. That's what he's going for. And it's true because whoever filmed him getting his arm broke came there with him. They knew he was going to do this. And he's like, keep the cameras rolling because I'm about to put on a show. He just didn't know that it was going to lead to his arm being broke. That's what it is. But look, here's his wife with a hijab on. She's from some other country. He's rocking his whatever thingamajigger.
This is my wife and Addie. And we are wanting to let you know Bilal Muhammad's fighting tonight at the UFC, defending his belt. And he is a Palestinian American, lives in Chicago, and he is fighting he's defending his championship belt. And
all of these so-called leftist Americans who love Palestine, who love Hamas, who loves Iran, why don't they all leave to go to those countries? They sit here and they talk about how America is imperialistic and they're genocidal and that Israel's this and that. Go pack up, take your wife, and leave to go to those countries. I mean, all of these Americans who think some of these radical Islamic countries will love them. And they feel that these countries are the real victims and they're being oppressed and all of this stuff. Move to the countries. Make those countries better. I'm sure they'll embrace you. You complete translucent white man. He looks like a full albino. And yet you think they're going to be over there like, I think he could pass for Palestinian. I think pretty much out there. You think they would tolerate this interracial relationship over there with Hamas? Unbelievable, these people, man. I'm saying y'all are the dumbest folks. You're the sheep that proudly, happily go straight to the slaughter, skipping and whistling. All the other sheep are nah. But here you are. We're in the money, right in the barn.
if you are not in the UFC, or if you are, make sure to get the event on pay-per-view, and percentage of proceeds go to him because he's a champion. And so
look at her. She looks nuts. She looks nuts. Both of them. You remind me of Mandami and his wife, who both hates America as well. And hate the Jews and stuff like that.
Just go Bilal and free Palestine.
I lived in
and free Palestine. Man, you know what? There's sayings and slogans that they use now that it just goes up my spine when I hear it now. Free Palestine.
occupied Palestine for 4 to 5 years of my life. I'm here today to ask the Raleigh City Council to finally take a stand against the terrorist state of Israel.
The terrorist state of Israel. Hey, what is she doing without that hijab on?
I just saw Colonel West on Al Jazeera, and he was all like, if it was my Jewish brothers who were being occupied and mistreated, I'd be in solidarity with my Jewish brothers. If it was my white brothers who were being occupied and oppressed, I'd be in solidarity with my vanilla brothers.
No, you wouldn't.
Do you see that? There she is out there with that hijab off. Now, I wonder, since she says she grew up in the Palestine or wherever she grew up at, I wonder if they would tolerate her out there without that hijab. But yeah, it's Israel who's the oppressors, right? The countries that don't give women any rights, but you got a lot of dumb American women over here, and then some like that who should know better, but for whatever reason, they got Stockholm syndrome. They're okay with it. And I'm saying, are you crazy? It's like folks that, truly understand Venezuela was oppressive. And then you got some folks over here talking about leave the Venezuelan dictatorship alone. And I'm saying, you don't realize that that's a dictator. I mean, that's like you, if you're Cuban, you're mad because Cuba right now is being targeted by the U.S. to get rid of their, craziness too. You're mad because Iran, who gives women no rights whatsoever, and you're talking about leave the Supreme, and I'm going, most of you folks, now if you're of that race, you should know better. But if you're not of that race, you never grew up there, and you're up here advocating and fussing and whining, go there and see how they treat you. That's all I'm saying. I go there and see how they will overlook so much stuff to grandstand. I'm saying you overlook the treatment of women, but yet you support these folks because I don't know what, Trump, or you hate Israel, but yet other stuff that you whine about that's going on here in America that ain't going on here, but really is going on in those countries, you overlook that stuff. Here you're talking about the abuse of women and gay rights and all of this stuff, and I'm saying that's not happening here, but it is there, but you're willing to overlook that. Because you're talking about free Palestine.
That's a lie. That way.
That's the videos that him and his wife are playing. Look at that.
Are we locked in?
Him and his wife. So there he is. So now we know his motive. He went there for this. He put on his little uniform, his outfit, his costume, because that's all he's using it for right now. Yeah, he put on his costume to go to D.C. to try to increase his profile. Let's get a viral moment, honey.
Trying to speak out against the Senate.
Our senators are willing to send our men and women to die for Israel.
But yet, are you going? I mean, because last I checked, you're not in the Marines anymore. So what are you whining about?
I mentioned the Paxton.
So now, since he was talking about all the free Palestine and all of the LGBT rights and all of that stuff, let's get to that. Let's talk about that because, once again, Democrats are on the move. They're on the move. They haven't learned that the majority of Americans, they don't want this ideology being shoved down the throats of Americans. Okay? And so they think this right here is the bravery and progress because they, in certain offices get these transgender folks in office or in some leadership position. And what do? They don't come in trying to, fight for Americans and their citizens. No, they come in fighting for their cause. That's just like when you bring in a lot of these foreigners and they have, they get elected into office, they're really fighting for what country they came from. If they're from India, they're pushing, we're fighting for India. They're from Somalia. They're fighting for Somalia. Now, they don't come in thinking about Americans. They come in thinking about whatever woke, priority that they have. So all the other Americans get pushed to the side. Now, when it comes down to the trans ideology, you already know. I mean, they're 100% sold out on nothing but trans rights. Just that, trans rights. That's it. When Richard Levin had that office, you think he was worried about the medical issues of all Americans. No, he was focused on trans, rights and the LGBT community, but more so on kids. And it brings me to these people who are advocating for things like this.
In case, and the AGs in many states are very clear about that. They're almost jubilant about being able to use these laws to ban young people from accessing content that could be educational.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So let me understand this. And I see these are the clips that Americans need to see. See, these are the ones that they don't want a lot of Americans to see, because, you know, when you start seeing the real agenda of the Democrat Party, you say, whoa, did this person just get up here? And they're upset because they're trying to make sure young adults don't get access to, you know what, pornography. This person is saying by doing that might limit trans kids from being able to look at this stuff and being educated. No, basically, you want them to be indoctrinated. You want them to be able to see this stuff and it gets into their psyche and it starts influencing their behavior and their appetite. You're a nasty, stinking demon that's trying to push that demonic, you know, belief and activity through policies. I can't believe this person said this. Now, a lot of them have gone underground on this issue because they know it was a losing issue. But when you start looking around, you'll find it is still deep down on the inside. So listen to this fool.
If they are queer. And you're a principal, you have LGBT students in your school, and we also know that they're not receiving sex education.
I mean, these are nasty men. Nasty men. I mean, here you are up there with your deep voice, thinking you're a woman, and what are you focused on? Making sure kids get access to pornography and trying to say it's for education. It's for education. Whether it is that type of stuff dealing with trans activities or even heterosexual activities, that stuff can mess up a child. You don't give access to kids with that unless you want to create a monster, or an addiction, you know, or desensitize kids to real relationships. All kind of stuff comes out of that. You get introduced to it when you're young. I mean, at least back in the day, you had to go and you know, dig for you. You find a Strauss's magazine. That you look through it and all you can see is women with them big brassieres on and those bloomers. And that was the closest you can get. Wow, look at that. You can see her brassiere and her bloomers. Then Sports Illustrated, a couple bikini suits on. But now, just click on it, you see everything. So this person right here is saying, let's not go too far with keeping this away from the kids. We want our kids to use this for, you know, the educational reasons. No, perverted reasons.
For queer kids. We know that prurient interest,
look at this,
could be, for many people, the very existence of transgender kids.
Yep. You want to influence them. You want them to have access to this. You want to create an appetite in these kids. By any means necessary. Whether it be allowing us to go into the schools and start promoting this mess. Now, if you don't believe me, watch this next clip. This lady is talking to, I think, a group of maybe third to sixth graders.
More and more people are saying there simply are no transgender kids.
Today,
because there isn't. No such thing. There's no such thing as a transgender person. That's unbelievable. But this is a Democrat politician. Now, they would call that person brave. See, these are clips that if Republicans were smart, Democrats leave so much damning evidence online for them. To whereas if normal Americans were to see this, they would say, this party is crazy. These are clips you could show them and say, this is what the Democrat Party is about. And then ask every Democrat, this person right here is, you know, supporting this right here. Do you support this? Because see, Democrats are great with that. They'll go find anything that they feel is controversial, and then they run straight to the nearest Republican and show them that. Look at this. Look at what this person has said. Do you support this? The fake news is very good at that. They'll find anything. And then what, that Mr. So-and-so, do you support this? But yet conservatives don't do that. I'm saying, look at all of this stuff, this craziness that if you ask any American, look what these people are supporting and believing. Shouldn't you be asking your politicians, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? And if they don't say, I rebuke that, I condemn that, that's ridiculous, then you should be saying, do I want this person in power? If they try to downplay it, I'm not here to talk about that. That means they support it. There is no other answer than that's crazy. And then you see this lady, some school actually had her talking to the kids about this.
we were actually going to be talking about tips for being non-binary. This again is a question that I often get in my DMs on Instagram. Do you have any tips for being non-binary? So
what's that? What's that? Another made-up term? What's that? So now some school actually is allowing this lady to speak to a group of kids about issues like this. Young kids. What does this have to do with education? I mean, you're worried about educating them on what your made-up definition is of non-binary. Now they just right now the non-binary. What is the concept of crazy wokeness created by a bunch of perverted people who are trying to justify? That's what they should be writing. But here's some school, the principal is letting the kids hear about all of this stuff.
My advice about this is to, if you feel like a label will be helpful for you, then go ahead and attach yourself to that label, but don't feel like you have to stick to it. And you're able to change. You can evolve.
Yeah, did you hear that? Because see, that's what happens when you have no guidelines, no moral compass. You can change. You can become whatever you want. You can, be whatever you want. There's no right or wrong to anything. There's no, line in the sand. And you can just make it up as you go. Nobody can tell you that you're crazy, you're out of order, maybe, you're mentally, nobody could do that. This way, nobody could check your stinking behavior. That's what it is. But now this person, you could change that if you want. Do you understand how this deteriorates the moral fabric of our country? Mentally, emotionally, all of this stuff. You're actually pushing ideology to confuse and make kids be crazy. Folks that will grow up not confused and delusional and crazy, you're doing that. You're planting the seed for all of this craziness in schools, or allowing this to happen.
I've had that experience myself in my own journey. I did identify as straight, even though I never really was. I identified as bi for a minute, even though I actually was never bi.
You hear that? So you don't know what you want to be. You don't know what you was, a pancake or a waffle. You are identified as this, even though I never really was. How do you know that? At some point, you were introduced to these concepts, and then all of a sudden you adopted these things, just like you're trying to do to these other kids. You think kids grow up knowing this stuff? This is introduced to them by perverts like this, and by the politicians who push this and support this. You think all these kids came up with the ideology of transgenderism and non-binaryism and stuff like that on their own? We see where it's coming from right here. And then you wonder why there's an uptick.
And then I identified as a lesbian, which is probably the closest terminology for my sexuality.
In schools. Not one of my teachers ever brought up any of this. Even in biology. It was a stick to biology. All right, this is a man, this is a woman, there's an X chromosome, there's a Y X chromosome. The men produce this and women produce that. You can see there's a difference. Any questions about that? Everybody got it? Yep. There was no, you know what? You got gay people, you got this. We all knew these folks existed. But this ain't something that should be taught in schools. What school is this? I mean, do you understand how quick I would snatch my kid out of this school? If we watched this lady that they talked to us about gays and lesbians and trans and non-binary, but I'm sure this is probably in some woke city where the school is woke and the parents are like, oh, that's good. They're making our kids be more aware of this. No, they're indoctrinating your kids.
Because I like girls. And the non-binary thing also came around in an odd way because I always kind of identified as this androgynous person, and I sort of evolved to feel, okay, this androgynous word is the right word for me.
Androgynous person, I always identified as this because I'm crazy. I don't know what I want to be. You don't realize this stuff influences kids. I saw when I took the puppy to the vet a couple weeks ago, I saw two guys in there. They were gay, obviously gay guys, two white guys. And they had a son who they apparently adopted. He was maybe like 12. Maybe 10 to 12, and was obviously gay. Obviously gay. Had the gay haircut. He was very gentle, sitting there with his legs crossed, just like his two dads. And I'm saying, there's something wrong with that. I mean, even if you didn't push that ideology on that kid, you don't think the fact that that kid's waking up every day, seeing you guys interact, you're robbing that kid of him having a healthy, heterosexual appetite and relationship, because you're subliminally, even if you're not actively trying to, to tell the kid this, subliminally, kids will look and observe, and that's how they learn. That's how their worldview is created. When I grew up, I saw the interaction between mom and dad. grandma and grandpa. That's how your things were formulated. You see that. Now imagine how confusing it would be if I saw, I'm growing up, I got two dads, but yet, I go outside of that and I see men and women, but yet they're, and they're activists. That's the problem. I mean, to really separate parenting from your activism. Most folks in that lifestyle are activists. They're trying to protect that lifestyle, that image. So that they're going to be pumping that kid's brain with this. And sure enough, that kid was just as sweet. And I'm going, how did that kid, you don't think that influenced that kid? Here he is, maybe 10 or 12, and he's already gay. Already gay. And you can't see that maybe those two gay guys who were very gay, very gay, maybe influenced him. And this is the type of stuff that they're subjecting our kids to in schools.
But then I was like, oh, the new word that the kids are using these days is non-binary. And I think that makes more sense. So things are going to evolve and change. And I would say it's really important to just have that space, have that openness.
So what if it changes back to normal? Then you got a problem with that? Going back to, all right, look, we got male and female, there's heterosexual and gay. That's it. There's no such thing as I'm a binary, I'm this and that, and I'm all of that crazy crap. Yeah. So they're always coming up with new stuff, new ways to say they're a victim. You create nothing but a lot of this generation, younger kids growing up, want to be different. So they're not even, the stuff that she's talking about right now, if you leave things the way they are, 5 years from now, all of that will be outdated. They'd be like, man, that's old stuff. We're trying to even go further in the craziness and the nonsense and then hold society and, hostage to our demands of our crazy imagination. That we're too flowered and now we're 317 spirited. And I want you to address me like that because it's a slip on reality. They're creating nothing but a slip on reality that opens up the door for you to live whatever fantasy you want to live. And then they make people try to, honor that you better need to respect that person's
to your own evolution as a person. Number 7 is binding. I'm actually going to do an entire YouTube episode on how to bind properly.
How is this allowed at a school? I don't understand. These folks should be brought up on charges.
General advice about binding is make sure you're being safe about it. Don't be wearing a binder more than 8 hours in a day. Definitely not exercising. The reason why I personally don't really wear binders that much is because of breathing. It restricts your breathing. And I already have a hard time breathing for other reasons. So
They're always fragile. Mara, I got other issues too. And I got these problems. And I'm going, boy, you just stack one issue on top of the issues and this and that. And you use all these issues to say you should be bubble wrapped in society. I saw on that video the other day when I was watching folks get arrested, they all had mental issues. I'm suffering from anger, anxiety, and I have an issue and I'm going, so you can just break the law and act a fool? Right now I have, and the cop said, look, this one guy gets out, start kicking this guy's car. And then when the cops pulled up on him, hey, you was tearing up this guy's car. Don't even talk to me because I can't control my anger. I got anger issues. And he was gentle as well. And the cop was like, well, if you're that messed up, should you even be driving? If you can't control your anger issues, well, that's why I'm home. I came home, so I'm knowing it's too late. You just was videotaped on the side of the road, got out your car, went over to this man's truck and start kicking his car. Now you're talking about I came home to get myself together. So you shouldn't be driving. These people, I'm saying, how do you operate in society? You're all messed up. Not to mention you want society to wait. Now, wait, what were you last week? All right, so wait, you were non-binary. This week you're what? Two-spirit? Okay, I got to keep track of that or else I'm a bigot.
Typically don't like to make that harder than it needs to be in this situation.
So now let's get to this because this is the type of realness we need to start having with these people. I know the internets and YouTube probably ain't going to like me even talking about this. This video is probably going to be limited or even monetized. But Joe Rogan, who is not on the right or on the left, but he did come out and he did something. I guess he's passionate about this and he sees this. This is the average person in America who might not be deeply into politics. But if they're introduced to this crazy nonsense and they know that there are folks out there thinking like this. They would think just like Joe Rogan is about to go ahead and address this dude. This dude used to be on Jackass, you know, a guy who used to commit stunts and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, he almost was bit by the bug of, you know, empathy, because he talked to some folks that were transgender, and then they pumped his head with, we're the victims. We're going to give you an insight of what we have to go through every day. Now, of course, you know, this the whole goal with, you know, the left and all these ideologies. They always sweeping down. They're victims. They're going through all this stuff. You don't understand what we go through. If you're a black activist, a race baiter, black people, you don't know what black people have to go through. And I'm going, what do we have to go through every day? I want to hear about all of this. Like, gay people are under attack. How? All of the stuff they always say. That America's horrible right now. All of these different groups are under attack. And I say, how? How are they under attack? And you just taking it for face value. You're just saying it. So, of course, they, you know, talk to this dude. He's thinking he's about to educate Joe Rogan, y'all. He's about to tell him how, look, I used to maybe feel this way, but I actually listened to one of these people, and what they told me, it broke my heart. And Rogan shuts it down completely. Completely. This is the way I like it. That's the way, I like it. So
talking to this transgender person, like, hey, can I?
Yeah, talking to this transgender person. I can't. You hear this guy right here with this froggy voice? The guy off the you know, dang on Little Rascals. Hey, Froggy.
Run something by you, and I spoke with them. They described to me a level of oppression, that genuinely fucking broke my heart.
Level of oppression that genuinely broke his heart. Mm-hmm. Because you're not a rational thinking man. You're not a common sense person. You're not somebody who said, well, wait a minute, where were all your people? This whole group of transgenders 20 years ago. Why weren't they being oppressed? Why weren't they all in society? Why didn't we know about all of these people? How did they live back then? How did they live back then? Or is this a new concept? Is this a new concept? So let's hear about this oppression.
They said, hey, let me tell you, like, I am not allowed to use the bathroom at my own place of work.
Now, that's the big one they always say. I ain't allowed to use the bathroom at my own place of work. And watch him interrupt us. This is how you got to do it. Don't even tolerate this empathetic nonsense. You cut him off and say, what?
We've got, like, politics.
That's not true. They're just not allowed to use the bathroom. It doesn't align with their biological sex.
Oh, I love it. Now, here this guy is thinking he's about to make a connection and school some people and this and that. And Joe Rogan with the stone face. That's not true. They're just not allowed to see. This is what you got to do. And when you know this stuff, now all of a sudden it takes away these stupid arguments that these people are out here trying to make.
Okay.
But you got to realize they're not all, listen, I genuinely think there's people that feel like they are in the wrong biological sex.
Sure.
Right? But there's also people that are fucking perverts.
Thank you. And because of empathetic fools like you and activists and stupid politicians, you open up the door for these people to take advantage of that. Yeah, mess around and make a loophole for folks who maybe got a murdering fetish or a bank robbing fetish. You know what? These people are living out their truth. Don't you know everybody who would be like, you know what, I'm about to rob this bank and say, you know, I can't help it. You're suppressing my rights. You know, I'm a natural born bank robber. It's greater than me. I suffer from. Yeah, you open the door for this type of nonsense. So now Joe Rogan shuts it down. He's like, you do realize that there are folks out there. And then he gets even more specific as Froggy right here tries to, you know, fight back. Now, just attacking that concept off grip, grab Froggy around the neck. Froggy right now is holding on to the wrist like, oh, shoot, wait a minute. So here, let's see what Froggy says.
And they have a thing called autogynephilia. And what that is they get a turn on by pretending to be a woman. They get excited by it. And they want to be around women. And they're creeps. And so you give them...
And I have to even go one step further. Even folks who don't have that disease, might act like they got that disease so they can still go in and check out women. I mean, imagine this being out in the 70s and the 80s. You don't think the little boys would have been trying to sneak in the girls' bathroom using this mess to go in a girls' locker room? Mrs. So-and-so, today for gym, I think I'm feeling like a girl. I think I need to go into the girls' locker room and stuff. And well, Kevin, you know, Are you using that to go, no? And you know what? By you suggesting that you are transphobic. Okay. Go ahead in. Hey, ladies, how you doing? Kevin, what are you doing here? Hey, calm down. I'm just here because I feel like a woman today. All right, so I'm just going to sit here and watch you guys get dressed for gym. Unbelievable. And you think women shouldn't feel funny about this? This idiot's people are so oppressed.
Them a fucking Willy Wonka golden ticket. You go into the women's locker room and the women's bathroom and stare at women and pretend you're a woman.
Now, see, these are common sense things. You ain't got to be a conservative to understand this concept. I mean, Joe Rogan's no conservative. Just a common sense American that says you don't realize that people are taking it. And then look who the people who takes advantage of it. Let's see the group of people who are constantly taking advantage of this.
You're just a crazy man. You're actually into women.
Okay.
That's real too, man.
I don't doubt that that's real, and I know that it's a super complex, nuanced.
You hear Froggy's trying to make an excuse? Now all of a sudden, we got to now go back in time where humans become dumb again. We got to suspend all of our previous knowledge, all the facts, all the anatomy, all the knowledge of biology for all these years and centuries since the dawn of time and act like it's nuanced and complex now. Because my whole argument that I thought I was just about to make that was going to be embraced was just attacked and blown up. So now I got to go ahead and revert back to this nuance. I mean, the science out there is still ambiguous. No, it's not. And so Joe Rogan attacks his next tactic because that's the next tactic. It's complicated.
Thing.
But here's what's not complex. What is your chromosomes?
Right.
Bam! See, this is how you unravel this nonsense. There you go. See, when they try to go back that way, it's complex. No, what's not complex? What does your chromosome say? Let's see how you deal with that fact in reality. So this guy, Froggy, is getting beat up right now.
Okay, this is the same thing for competing. Right. All these fucking mental gymnastics that seemingly intelligent people do to justify biological males competing with females.
And that's exactly what it is. Mental gymnastics. You got to work hard to justify this. You just can't just say, you know what, this is a bunch of bullshit. What are you? Our society has lost its mind. I mean, are y'all crazy? I got so-called professionals still done that we need more testing. We need more, research. And I'm going, no, we don't. No, we don't. Okay. Leave society like it was. We wouldn't have to. You could go to the kindergarten class and get that information from one of them. Hey, Timmy, go over and point to the man. This one. Go over and point to the woman. That one. Thank you, Timmy. How did you know that? Because that one right there is like my mommy. And that one right there is like my daddy. And that one right there, easy stuff, man. But yet, because of wokeness, we got folks. Somebody said, who is this? He's the guy that used to be on Jackass. I forget his name, but he used to be on Jackass. But this is easy stuff. But because they don't want to offend this crazy ideology and these people and politicians who are supporting this, even professionals got to try to tiptoe around this and act like there's more research to be made. There's nuances. No, there's not. No, you are acting real. You're working hard to sound dumb.
I'm with the. I don't think anybody's.
It's the same thing.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
And
that's Steve-O from Jackass.
Especially as speaking as a man who has daughters, like there are creeps, and if you give a creep, and I'm not saying all trans people are creeps,
right?
But a lot of these fucking people that are in trouble for going into women's bathrooms dressed as a woman with a fucking beard and a heart on are just that. They're creeps.
Right. Okay.
And you can't see that? Society is too stupid to see that? They're so woke. They're saying, you know what? We're going to appease the folks who might really have some mental issues while allowing the other folks who is just perverts to go ahead and enjoy themselves. There you go. Yeah, we're going to allow even this stuff to take place in prisons. How you like that? In prisons. Yeah, buddy. And if you're in a real stupid state, you might even go ahead and help some of the other folks even go through transition in prison. There was a guy on death row in California. And, for lowering these two couples out on this boat, killing them, writing an insurance policy, getting this insurance return or something like that. But the way he killed him was horrible. Gloated, tortured him. His buddies end up telling on him. Him and his wife actually helped facilitate that. So he was sentenced to death. And in prison, I guess he decides, you know what? I'm a woman. He tries to cut his own, you know what, off. They patch him up. I'm like, why didn't you let that brother just bleed to death? Give him a Band-Aid, some gauze, and a little, little iodine. Throw some, what do you call that? Not Epsom salt, but some peroxide on that. Yeah. Do the best you can. I mean, if you want to cut your own tinky winky off, that's on you, buddy. But instead, what did they do? They gave this guy a transition just only to execute it. I'm going, how stupid have our society become? You don't get those privileges. So the state had to pay for this guy's, perverted ideology. Unbelievable, only to execute him. It's fascinating how society has unraveled. Fascinating. And yet you don't think that if folks go to prison, they wouldn't exploit that loophole? Let me go to prison in a dang on liberal state. You think I want to be in there with the guys fighting for my life, risking getting shanked? Immediately. You know what's going to happen? Wait a minute. All right, Kev is now feeling like Kavina. Right about now, I want to go over to the girls' prison. Kev, are you just saying this so you can be around the ladies? No. And by you saying that, you're transphobic. There you go. Well, do you want the surgery? Oh, no, I want to remain just like this. I'm not even going to shave my beard. Just send me over here just like this so I can still appeal to the women. I don't want them looking at me like I'm a girl or something. You think I'm going over there to blend in with them? No. Unbelievable. But yet, how are you going to argue that? Because our society in liberal states and cities are so stupid that they don't even have those requirements. No, I'm just a girl. Okay. Do you look like a guy, sound like a guy, and act like a guy, but I'm a girl. And if you question that, you're transphobic or something. So now Rogan is about to destroy this man's whole concept.
And they're crazy men. And these crazy men, their entire life, they would get beaten up for that. Now,
yeah, remember the old days? Yeah, you find that dude in that bathroom like on Porky's with Mrs. Ballbreaker. And they was peeking through that hole watching those girls. Yeah, and that guy stuck his tallywhacker through there. And Ballbreaker grabbed that and was like, yeah, Mrs. Ballbreaker was tough on the boys because she know that there are boys out there that would take advantage of it like on Porky's. If you don't know about Porky's, then that's old school. Good old Porky's. So yeah, it looks like that. That there are people out there that would take advantage of that, but stupid people don't realize that.
All of a sudden, they have to be accepted. So you've got two things going on at the same time.
For sure.
You've got people with gender dysphoria that genuinely wish they were a woman or genuinely wish they were a man. And by the way, it's men that are the problem.
Bam! Thank you. Men that are the problem. Notice that the women who think they're men don't go in there just to get a peek at other men. They're not in there trying to get a peek at other men. It's only men. But yet you got all these feminists out there and you got all the Democrats and liberals talking about women's rights. But you open up a loophole for only men to exploit other women in every category. Sports, bathroom, only men can take advantage of this. Women cannot take advantage of this thinking that they're men. But yet, folks out there say they're fighting for women's rights and stuff.
No one gives a fuck about trans men going into the men's bathroom.
Nope. Just like they don't give a darn about trans men getting into men's sports. They don't care. Go ahead. Send her on the basketball court so I could dunk all over her. Send her into male's wrestling so we could fold her up like a suitcase. And send her in the track so I could beat her by 30 yards. There you go. Send her in the UFC so I could knock her out in about 3 seconds. They get it. Women who think they're men still somehow realizes that I better not go over there with the real men. They still know that. But yet at the same time, these guys who think they're girls, for some reason, are very comfortable going over there in women's spaces and sports. And folks don't get it yet.
Come on in. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Oh, a girl's going to shit next to you? Or what is she going to do? She's going to pee out of a funnel? What is she going to do? Like, no one's going to get hurt.
I'm not arguing.
No one's
Right. I'm not arguing. Because you're destroying my argument. You're bringing up all of this reality, all of this realness, all of this stuff that any common sense person should know. But yet you almost fell for it, Steve-O. Yeah, you let them get in your ear. You let them start filling your head with all that, and we're under attack and all of this stuff. And I'm going, are you trying to soften me up so I can suspend my reality? So I could go ahead and say, well, you know what? Let's rewire society. And I'm saying, no, we don't want to do that. Let's call it for what it is. So Steve-O is about to get destroyed to where he taps out.
Going to get hurt. This is the problem. When you allow perverts to have this hall pass to go into women's locker rooms and bathrooms. So you can't say you're not allowed to use the bathroom where you work. That's not true. Just not allowed to use the women's room where other women are in there because you're not a woman.
There you go. So that means you're really not under any attack. Yeah, if you just have some common sense as a person, even who thinks that, well, you know, I want to live this lifestyle or I am this, you should still understand society is not wired to accommodate my lifestyle or my delusion. So instead of trying to rewire society and force them to fit into my reality, maybe I should have some common sense to not make my lifestyle and my community look controversial by shoving this into, you know, all these other spaces. Maybe I should just go into the bathroom that just says restroom right here and it's a one-person restroom. Maybe I should do that. Or maybe I should go into my biological sex, restroom. Maybe I should get in the sport that is, you know, with my biological sex. And then we wouldn't be looked at as controversial. Maybe a little weird, but not controversial. Not to the point where folks are like, now we got to come up with legislation to keep you guys out of girl sports. Now we got to come up with legislation to keep you guys out of. Yeah, maybe if y'all won't go so far with your ideology to where you're going after kids, you know, or trying to force taxpayers to pay for your transition, or trying to make everybody call you things that you're not, maybe nobody will pay attention to you, okay? Because apparently folks that cross-dress and all that stuff been around for a long time, but nobody said nothing. Nobody was going out, let's go in. We saw him walk past, hey, there's a guy dressed like a girl. That was it. That was it, if you said anything at all. But now all of a sudden, you know, it goes from I'm dressing like a girl or I think I want to be a girl to I am a woman and I'm going to shove that down your throat. You must look at me, say I'm a woman, allow me to live my life like a woman, get in women's sports, and I'm saying, and you wonder why society pushes back. And then you say, you're the victim. But see, understand, society would have self-corrected this if it wasn't for politicians like Democrats, like the Democrats. We celebrate this and we're fighting for it. And I'm saying society would have said, no, y'all don't even need to get involved with this. Just like he said, normally you would have got beat up for this. Catch a guy in there and the stall dressed like a woman peeking out. There's a man in here. And a couple guys would have went in there, grabbed him, snatched him out of there and said, what are you doing? What are you doing in the back? Society would have checked it. But then you get politicians who come in and say, these people right here have a right to do this. Right now, they have right. And what does that do to those people? That encourages these people to do what, Joe Rogan?
And I know you wish you were a woman or whatever's going on,
okay.
But you're not.
Know what? You make a very, very good point.
So then how about you shut your little froggy voice up?
If you're a woman, talk to most women about this. And it's unless they're insanely captured by this woke ideology where they can't see reality in the fact.
Yeah, the woke ideology is like Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, you're so woke that you allow woke ideas that will actually result in you being jacked up. But you don't want to come across as non-woke. It's like that terrorist attack that almost took place where the guy comes, Allah Akbar, and throws the bomb while one of his own supporters are speaking, okay, could have blew him up, took off digging, running through the crowd. The bomb didn't even go off. And this guy comes right out afterwards, I still support the guy undermined his whole thing. I think of people from other countries who come here to have the right, they're not violent. No, and then as soon as he says that, Allah Akbar. And I'm saying that guy just undermined your whole argument and was willing to blow you up. And here you get right out there. It's really the white supremacists are the problem. And I'm saying, white liberals, man, that the wokeness, will end you up in trouble. Just like all these white folks that free Palestine. Hamas is really the victims. And I'm going, Hamas would have killed you, idiots.
That perverts are still a real thing.
Yeah.
And this loophole You've given loopholes. Like there's men in prison. I think it's like 47 biological males in California are housed in women's prisons. Some of them are sex offenders. Yeah. Some of them in Canada. There's a guy in Canada that they had to pay for his boob job while he was in jail for being a sex offender. And
boobies! There you go. Yeah, paid for his Bobby Boucher boobies. Yeah, when she showed Bobby Boucher boobs, he said, I appreciate what you're showing me right now. Yeah. So now he's somewhere in somebody's prison with boobs. Talking about, I appreciate what you're showing me right now.
Put him in a women's prison.
My experience was
here it is.
That
here's another crazy thing that they push, and he's trying his best to adopt this nonsense without really saying, does that make sense? This is another one. A leftist, a bleeding heart liberal, would just accept this without thinking it through, and Joe Rogan can't let that happen.
Didn't get any of this, like, sense that this was a creepy pervert, anything like that. I just thought
they don't have to be a creepy pervert,
right?
But it's still a man.
Bam! So he took away that argument. I mean, Joe, in this case, you're killing it. You're crushing this dude. Yeah. So bottom line, he's trying to wiggle his way around that, trying to go ahead and say, well, in this case, I don't care. He's still a dude. Okay, it's that simple. But now, here it is. This is the ultimate one. Yeah, they're being tracked down, hunted down, trying to be put in concentration camps.
Understood. I just thought, man, I heard what they had to say about, politicians trying to put them in internment camps and
who's doing that? What politicians are saying they should be put in internment camps?
See, I love it. This is how you get folks with these arguments. They just say things that folks maybe in that community are saying. That we're being attacked, they're trying to put us in the internment camps, and they just repeat this stuff without thinking it through. And when they do it, stop them right there and ask them, show me the evidence of that. Who's doing that? Who's doing that? That's what I want to know. See, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh shoot, I never thought that through. I just took these people's words for it. I never stopped to say, you know what? Have I seen any videos of folks jumping out, grabbing them, throwing them in, some type of vehicle, taking them off in this camp? All right, now look at this picture. What is this? It's that non-binary person. You know what? Shock them again until they get it right. Now, what does the apple stem on this man represent? That represents two-spirited. All right, try it again. There's a man. All right, we're making progress. Nobody's doing this. But yet in the minds of a lot of these trans folks and in a lot of the trans sympathizers, that's what's happening. But it ain't no different than them saying illegals are being hunted and shot and killed and put in concentration camp. They're trying to put black folks in. Everybody's being put in a concentration camp. But yet I'm not seeing no concentration camps. Unbelievable. So now he tries to go with the old concentration camp argument.
Was some kind of...
there might be one kook out there that's saying that to try to get attention.
And there's not even one. I have not seen one conservative, not one politician on the right ever say that the trans community need to be put in concentration camps. But yet this guy just repeated that mess without even internalizing it. It's fascinating to me how leftists just adopt whatever crazy talking point that is downloaded into their heads without saying, wait a minute, how does that look in real life? ICE is out there killing Americans with impunity. Why would they do that? I mean, what is their real goal and agenda? Is it to go kill Americans? Or is it to go and arrest illegal immigrants and Americans that interfere with that and go too far? Ends up getting themselves hurt or killed by ICE? Could it be that? But you want me to adopt and just accept this whole idea that ICE is just out there randomly looking for Americans, just trying to kill them for no reason. Nobody stops to say, how does that look in reality? Let me just take all of that. Why would you tell me something so just pure? No details, no context. You're purely telling me that that's what's happening. So now somebody asks you and you're going, huh? All right, I ain't think you was gonna ask me to show the evidence of that. I thought you was just gonna say, really? No, that's horrible. Wow. So let's see if he can answer that.
There's no movement to try to put transgender people in internment camps.
Okay, well then I'll land on this.
Do you know who's killed more people than ICE this year? Trans shooters.
Ooh.
Do you know the majority of these high school shootings have been transgender people?
I did not know that.
Yeah. I bet you didn't, Steve-O. Just like a lot of these folks who just buy into all of these statements and accusations, they don't know that. They don't know. But let's see. Joe Rogan's going to go one step further and say, this is most likely why these people are responsible for that. Because, see, y'all are worried about the 2 Americans who got killed by ICE that got themselves killed and stuff.
How many of them? There was one recently, and yeah, it's a lot of them. You know why? Because they're giving them psych medications, they're giving them a bunch of crazy hormones, and a lot of them probably have mental struggles already, and they're ostracized from society, and fill in the blank, and then they're empowered by thinking that the world has done something bad to them.
By people like him, like people like Steve-O, who just goes ahead and buys into it. People like the Democrats. The trans community is under attack. They're trying to genocide them. Yeah, see, that's what gives legitimacy to their delusion. That's what gives legitimacy to how radical and aggressive they become when they feel like folks in society are not recognizing us. That's what legitimizes them. Society would have checked these type of behaviors, but when politicians come in and support that, that's what makes these folks become emboldened. So instead of you saying, oh, my fault, I probably shouldn't be in this bathroom. Now, you're violating my rights and all of this stuff. See, we didn't have to deal with this before. Society would come in and say, hey, what are you talking? Shut that mess up. That's crazy. But then you turn on the TV. We're here to push legislation that will protect the rights of trans kids who want to to take away parents. Unbelievable. So that's why you got to be careful, not to vote blue, no matter who. If you think Democrat politicians disagree with all of this nonsense, no, they're just going into hiding because they know it's not popular. That's what they're doing. But when you go ahead and do a little searching, you'll find out the reason that a lot of these people are the way they are is because folks who we perceive as legitimate folks in society has went ahead and justified this stuff and became an advocate for these people. Thus, you get them feeling like we're under attack and our rights are being violated, and I got a right to go ahead and punish a lot of innocent people because, America don't want to go ahead and give me access to this restroom or let me play in this sport or, believe I'm something that I'm not.
And that there's like a genocide against trans people, and they attack J.K. Rowling, and they attack all these people. Martina Navratilova, who's like a famous lesbian, for being a bigot because she doesn't want biological men competing with women in tennis.
The left always eats its own. And see, that's how radical it's become, to even where lesbians and gay folks who have enough common sense to say, just say I want to live like a guy or a girl, or just say I'm gay or I'm lesbian, but you're trying to say you're something. I'm still rational. I understand what I am. I just like the opposite sex. But now, because I'm not willing to support you getting in girl sports or boy sports or going after kids with this stuff, now I'm not even an ally. Okay, I'm good with that. So that divide is even taking place in that community. Pretty sure a lot of the LGBT want to drop off the T and all of that mess. See, but Joe Rogan calls it out and says, yeah, you keep telling people that they're under a genocide, just like you keep telling folks Trump's Hitler. You keep telling folks Charlie Kirk's a full-blown white supremacist, white national. You keep telling folks that all of these people out here are not upset about the stuff you're trying to shove down society, but they personally hate you. They're personally coming after you. They want to unexist you. You keep telling everybody that ICE is trying to, go ahead and arrest and put all of these illegals in concentration camps, and it's all motivated by racism. You promote radical, crazy folks who can't understand it's a game to them to help push their ideology, and then you get folks who act upon that. If you really if black folks are really being genocided, you don't think I would act? If I had true evidence that, there were groups of, military out there just saying, there's black folks over there. You don't think I would go to the wall of pain, load up and go out there and say, let's do it, man? and let's do it. But I know that's not happening. And I'm a rational person to where I don't care how many black race baiters, how many white liberals get on TV and say that this is happening. I'm going, no, it's not. You don't think I'm smart enough to know that whether it's happening or not? You think I would just sit here in my house, look out the window while they're just slaughtering black folks for no reason, and just be like, I'm sure they're going to overlook me. But yet these people will tell folks this. And people can't decipher towards, they rely on folks that are fractured mentity, and they can't tell the difference between these folks' propaganda and reality. Thus, they go out and they do things like what he's talking about.
It's nuts, man.
It's nuts.
And it's like either you go by biology or you do not.
Yeah.
Either you go by XY chromosome or then you're in this weird fucking gray area where someone could just tell you they're a woman. Yeah. That's how you get men in women's prison.
Yeah. All right. You've convinced me.
Doesn't mean you can't be kind.
Doesn't mean you can't be kind. But look what he did. He systematically unraveled Steve-O to where now he started off confident, y'all. I went and listened to these people are under so much discrimination. And within 3 minutes, he got completely unraveled to where he tapped out. All right, you convinced me, but yet you were so easily convinced by the transgender person who you talked to that all this stuff was happening because you went in, with a woke heart, a woke mind, and never stopped to question it, never stopped to think what you're saying doesn't make any sense. And that is showing you how easily liberals and non-rational common sense folks can be swayed to accept stuff that folks like us will listen to and say, how did you fall for that? I mean, at what point did you not say what this person's saying is complete nonsense? Complete nonsense, and it's not happening. Not happening. I'm telling you, when I heard what's his name, the basketball player, LeBron James, get up there and say every day, black men are being hunted down and killed by police. And I said, every day? Are you kidding me? How about we do a little research on that? It turned out it was like 12 black men in a year that was killed by police officers. 2 of the police officers were found guilty, and the rest of all the shootings were legitimate. And it equaled the same amount of people who had been struck by lightning in that year. Lightning! And this man gets up here, and he said, every day. And I'm saying, you know how that would look if that was really happening? You didn't stop to think, wait a minute, how would that look? All of these police officers that protect us as we play basketball, but they don't open fire on us as we're out there making millions. They don't open fire on us. They just escort us right back into the locker room and protect us and make sure all those police officers that patrol your nice, rich neighborhood, you didn't think they would just bust into your gated community and say, this brother up here is living better than us. Here we are down here scraping and scrapping, let's go up there and take his stuff and I'm saying, you're saying every day, 12 in 1 year. All of the black folks in 12, and you get up here but see, the problem is there will be some influential black person or some a person who can be influenced by that nonsense who would say, yeah, that's what we up against. That's how I feel. And I'm saying, you're poisoning the minds of people who don't realize, your propaganda, and you don't even realize it. In his mind, that's what he's thinking every day. And I'm going, boy, you're setting some poor black dude up for failure who might get pulled over reasonably. Sir, I just need to see your license and registration. Then I'm going to let you go. Man, what the heck you pull me over for? And I'm going, you're about to get yourself jacked up because you've been listening to too much LeBron James, too much Democrats out there, police are there. And I'm saying, so maybe one day we'll get back to sanity. But I doubt it. It's a slippery slope. We just got to hang on to it and make sure we educate, folks that's coming up to know that, wait, reject this type of insanity. Let's go ahead and beat this out of society through rejecting it and voting out these crazy folks like that man who was talking about the kids should have access to, certain type of material for education. For education. That's what we got to do. Okay? Because we're fighting against a demonic spirit. This lost this mind trying to come into our world and pervert everything. But we won't let that happen, especially not here in Kevin's Corner. Hey, I'm going down fighting, man. I ain't gonna be on there like, yeah, I talked to a transgender the other day, boy, everybody, and I heard that they're feeling it. I'm not doing that. See, so God bless you. God bless America. Thanks for kicking it with me today. I'm gonna try to do better on consistency starting next week. I will be out of town tomorrow. And I might do some video recording while I'm in New York. Who knows? I might make a couple videos and do some stuff on the streets. I'm out here. I'm scared for my life in New York. But I want to ask the people how they like Mandami and stuff like that. Who knows? I might do that. But if not, I will see you guys very, very soon. Thanks to all of those who gave in the super chat. Thanks to those who hit the like button. If you haven't, hit it on the way out. Share my videos. Follow me on all my other platforms. I appreciate if you would do that. Those who want to give to the super chat, well, gave to the super chat, I already said that. But those who want to support the channel through my Cash App and my PayPal link, please do so. Just go right to the link right after this and boop, drop about $8,000 in there. Yeah, I'm going to need it for the trip. So I appreciate anything that you guys have done, even when it comes down just to your time watching my show and stuff like that. Other than that, we will go ahead and check you out very, very soon. One of the puppies are leaving today, y'all. The little brown one. She's gone. All right, so I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, you'll be seeing the other one. I think I have settled. Somebody mentioned, I was asking what should I name the little white and black one that I'm keeping, and somebody suggested Panda because she looks like a panda bear. She got a little, all the panda markings. So I said, you know what, I'm going with that. So she is now named Panda. She's my little panda bear. All right, so God bless. Talk to you soon. All right, take care. Let's get out of here. I rock the plane. This is our city. I know you see the apes. I know you see the women. Yeah. Take care.